Good morning, everyone. So this is the third session of the topic Primary Activities, Chapter 5 of Fundamentals of Human Geography. Today we shall start with a discussion on mixed farming, a type of agricultural systems in the world. Okay, so we shall start with this type of agriculture known as mixed farming. And any idea, do you have any idea about mixed farming? Anybody, do you have any idea about mixed farming? Yes. Any idea about mixed farming? Okay, I will tell you. Actually, mixed farming is a type of farming in which growing of crops and rearing of livestock are done side by side. Okay, as a integrated component. Okay, see, we have these areas of mixed farming, that is the areas where mixed farming is practiced, are given here. The first one is northwestern Europe. Second one, we have eastern North America, then part of Eurasia, and temperate latitudes of southern continents. So let us see the location. Here, this is this part. Okay, so this is the eastern North America, then northwestern Europe, then part of Eurasia. Okay, Eurasian part. And so these are the areas, okay, in the southern hemisphere. South Africa, then that Argentina, part of South America. So in these areas, mixed farming is practiced. Okay, remember, mixed farming is a type of farming in which growing of crops and rearing of animals are done together. Now let us find out the important features of mixed farming. So the first point is here: mixed farms are moderate in size. The size of the farm is moderate. Okay, not too big, not too small. It is moderate. And okay, someone is coming. And important crops grown in this type of farming are wheat, barley, oats, rye, maize, fodder, that is food for the animals, then root crops. The second important feature, okay, the first feature was that the size of the farm is medium. The second important feature is that fodder crops are an important component of mixed farming, because we learned earlier that together with the growing of crops, rearing of animal is done, and that is why fodder crops are an important component of mixed farming. So this is the second feature. Another one is here, crop rotation and intercropping play an important role in maintaining soil fertility. So what do you mean by crop rotation? Do you have idea about crop rotation? Anybody?
No, sir.
Okay. See, actually, this is the practice of growing a series of crops. Okay, a series of different types of crop in the same area. It is a practice of growing a series of different types of crop in the same plot of land. Okay, across a sequence of growing season. That means there is change of crop, okay, one after the other in the same plot of land, in the same farmland. That is called crop rotation, and this process will enhance the soil fertility. Say for example, after growing the wheat, if we grow pulses, leguminous crop, then because of nitrogen fixation done by this leguminous crop, fertility of the soil will be increased. As you know that rhizobium is present in the roots of the leguminous crop, and that help in the fixing of nitrogen into the soil. So in this way, crop rotation enhances, okay, the fertility of the soil. So another term given here is intercropping. So intercropping is growing of two or more crops, okay, in proximity, just mixing. Okay, intercropping is the growing of two or more crops in proximity. Say like this. Say for example here, this is one type of crop. It's grown here, one type of crop. So another type of crop is grown here, like this, like this. Okay, then again the same crop may be coming here. So in this way, in case of this intercropping, two or more crops are grown in proximity. That is called intercropping, and it is done in mixed farming. And another point, another feature is equal emphasis is laid on crop cultivation and animal husbandry. Okay, equal emphasis on growing of crops and rearing of the animals. Okay, equal emphasis. And important animals reared in mixed farming are cattle, sheep, pigs, and poultry. And this will provide income along with the crops. Okay, hence the name mixed farming is given. And see, mixed farming is characterized by high capital expenditure on farm machinery. So this is another feature or characteristic, that this type of farming is characterized by high capital expenditure on farm machinery. So lot of investment is there for our farm machinery, to buy the farm machines and building. Okay, then another characteristic is that there is extensive use of chemical fertilizers and green manures, okay, for growing crops. And the last important characteristic is given here. It is done by the skill and expertise of the farmer. It is mainly done by the highly skilled and expertise of farmers. Okay, so these are the important characteristic features of mixed farming. So any question about mixed farming? Any question about mixed farming? Okay, let me proceed. Next we have another type of farming. known as dairy farming. You know dairy farming, so this is the rearing of animals for milk and milk products. Okay, dairy farming means rearing of animals for milk and milk products. And about the important features of dairy farming, first point is given here. It is highly capital intensive. Like mixed farming, lots of investment is there. Okay, highly capital intensive. Actually we need this capital expenditure for animal shades. See here. Okay, for maintaining animal shade, storage facilities, and for the fodder of the animals, for feeding, and for the milking machines. Okay, for all these things we need high capital expenditure. You know this milking is done by machines only, not by hand in this type of farming. Okay, and there should be large storage facilities, and there should be animal pens and sheds, and fodder to be provided to the animals, and that is why there is a heavy capital expenditure. And another point, another feature is here. Special emphasis is laid on cattle breeding, health care, and veterinary services. Scientific treatment of the animals there. Okay, scientific breeding of the animals done to increase the productivity. Health care of the animal taken. Then other veterinary services are also there. And here we have this one example of this dairy farming, a photograph of dairy farming practice in Austria, in Europe. And I think you are seeing that here I think you are seeing pipelines, and these pipelines carry milk. Okay, and we have known earlier that milking is done by machines, not by hand, and it is fixed there. Okay, so another feature is here, another characteristics of dairy farming is here. It is highly labor intensive as it involves rigorous care in feeding and milking. Not only capital intensive, it is also labor intensive. Okay, because we have to take care a lot about feeding of the animals and the milking of the animals. You know, fixing of the machines on the cattle to be done by hand, and that is why so lots of these labor, manual labor also there. And another again this feature is here. There is no off season during the year, as in the case of crop raising. In case of this cultivation, we find this off season, since we cannot grow crops all the year round. But for the dairy farming, there is no off season. Okay, that is the point mentioned here. See another point, it is practiced mainly near urban and industrial centers, which provide neighborhood market for fresh milk and dairy products. See, dairy farming is mainly done nearby the big cities and industrial centers. You know, industrial center, big cities, these are densely populated areas, and there is a lot of demand for these fresh milk and dairy products, and that is why it is mainly done nearby the big cities and industrial centers. You know that mentioned earlier, northwestern Europe, a highly industrial area, then northeastern USA, another highly industrial area. So in these areas this dairy farming is mainly done. And another characteristic is here, Okay, transportation. Okay, a good efficient transportation, refrigeration, and pasteurization, okay, are required to increase the duration of storage of various dairy products, milk and milk product. Okay, so these are perishable, highly perishable one, and that is why we need refrigeration facilities. We need to do pasteurization, okay, so that it can be kept for a long time. Pasteurization? Do you know what is pasteurization? Pasteurization. Anybody? Okay, since nobody is responding, are you connected? Since nobody is responding, okay, I will tell you. Pasteurization, actually, this is the process of heat treatment. Okay, this is the heat treatment process to destroy pathogens like this virus, harmful these viruses and bacteria and other microorganisms. Okay, heating is done usually less than 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, pasteurization is the heat treatment process to destroy pathogens and microorganisms, okay, to kill viruses and bacteria. It is called pasteurization. And for the reasons, okay, for the reasons where this dairy farming is practiced, we have three important reasons, three main reasons. The first one, the largest one, is the northwestern Europe. Okay, let us see any world map. Northwestern Europe is here. This is what called northwestern Europe. Then next we have the second one is Canada, and the third belt includes southeastern Australia and New Zealand, Tasmania. Okay, second one is Canada. So second one is this Canadian part. Then here we have southeastern Australia, and so we have this New Zealand also here. Okay, so these are the areas where mixed farming is done. Tasmania, the last one is Tasmania. Actually, Tasmania is here. Okay, so this, I think, do you see a small island here? And do you see?
Yes, sir.
Just below Australia, do you see a small island highlighted by me?
Yes, sir.
That is Tasmania. Okay, that is Tasmania. Location of Tasmania. And this is New Zealand. This is southeastern Australia. Okay, northwest Europe, and this is the Canadian part of North America. Okay, these are the areas where dairy farming, okay, is practiced. Any question about dairy farming? Are you clear? Okay. Which one I have to repeat, Basti? About dairy farming? Actually, see, I will tell the definition. Okay, so we are learning about this dairy farming and a mixed farming. So mixed farming, okay, refers to the type of farming in which growing of crops and rearing of animals are done together. Okay, that is called mixed farming. And for the dairy farming, so this is the type of farming in which animals are reared for milk and milk products. Okay, and both the types of farming require heavy capitals. Okay, it requires heavy capitals. Then both of these types of farming require these other lot of investment. Okay, so these for machinery, for the other inputs, and for the this mixed farming, see, size of the farm moderate, then crop rotation and intercropping done. Crop rotation means change of the crop one after the other, okay, on the same plot of land. Intercropping means growing of crops, two or more crops in proximity. Okay, and so there is lot of capital expenditure for farm machinery. Then skill and expertise farmers required. For the dairy farming, again we have the scientific treatment of these animals, cattle breeding, scientific cattle breeding is there, healthcare, then veterinary services also there. It is mainly practiced nearby the big cities and industrial regions. Okay, transportation, refrigeration and pasteurization is required to for these transporting and for storing these milk and milk products. Pasteurization means heat treatment of the food and other beverages like milk, okay, to destroy pathogens, that is harmful germs like viruses, bacteria. Okay, okay, then let us proceed. Okay, next important type of farming is known as Mediterranean agriculture. Actually here the name Mediterranean is given because it is practiced in the countries on other side of this Mediterranean Sea in Europe. In this area sea. Just this is the Mediterranean Sea, and the countries surrounding. Okay, in the countries surrounding the Mediterranean Sea, this type of farming is done, and hence the name Mediterranean agriculture is given. And in the other areas of the world where Mediterranean type of climate is enjoyed, experience in those areas also Mediterranean type of agriculture is practiced. Okay, now let us find out the features. Number one features, highly specialized commercial agriculture. Okay, that is mainly done for this selling in the international market. Okay, highly specialized commercial agriculture. And another one, and so these are the areas. Okay, before we take up the another feature, so as I told you, it is practiced in the countries on other side of the Mediterranean Sea in Europe. Then it is also practiced in North Africa, that is North Africa means south of Mediterranean Sea, from Tunisia to Atlantic coast, here. Okay, here in this area, okay, and Southern California, that is in USA, okay, and central Chile, southern California, okay, here in this area, then southern Chile also here, and southwestern part of South Africa, southwestern part of this area. Okay, so these are the reasons where Mediterranean agriculture is practiced. And another important feature, in addition to the feature mentioned above, so what is the feature mentioned earlier? That is, it is highly specialized commercial agriculture. The second one is, okay, so this agriculture is an important supplier of these citrus fruits like these lemon, orange, and the like. And other fruits also are olives, okay, given here olives and figs are also produced here in this Mediterranean agriculture. Okay, then see, viticulture, that is grape cultivation, is a specialty of the Mediterranean region. Okay, another important characteristic of Mediterranean agriculture is viticulture. What is viticulture? Viticulture means grape cultivation. Okay, this is very, very famous here. Okay, and the best quality wines in the world with distinctive flavors are produced from high quality grapes in various countries of this region. So in these countries, in the Mediterranean countries, high quality grapes are produced, and from those grapes, okay, very high quality with good flavor of wines are produced and very famous. Okay, and another point is here, inferior grapes are dried into resins and currents. The inferior one means the grapes which are not good in quality, low quality grapes, okay, inferior quality grapes are dried into resin. Resin means dried grapes, and currants. Okay, currants, you know, a small dried seedless resin grown in this region, and it is used in making jams, jellies like that. Okay, then one more advantage, or as well as important feature of this agriculture is that, okay, more valuable crops such as fruits and vegetables are grown in winters when there is great demand in European and North American markets. So one advantage of the Mediterranean region is that, you know, Mediterranean region is nearby the equator. Means close to the equator as compared to the European and the North American countries. That is the advantage, because in winter most of the European countries, North American countries are covered with snow and ice. Okay, and say the cultivation, the growing of crops sometimes may not be possible, and during that time these available crops such as fruit and vegetables are supplied by the Mediterranean agriculture. This is the most important advantage of this type of farming. Okay, so any question about Mediterranean agriculture? Any question about Mediterranean agriculture? Okay, let me proceed since you don't have any question. The next important farming system is market gardening and horticulture. Okay, market gardening and horticulture. So this is a type of farming in which the cultivation of high value crops, okay, such as vegetables, fruits, and flowers, okay, are done solely for the urban markets. Let me repeat. market gardening and horticulture is a type of farming in which the cultivation of high value crops such as vegetables, fruits, and flowers is done solely for urban markets. Okay, and about the important features, farms are small. The size of the farm, okay, is small. Then what is the other feature? So these farms, okay, about location, these farms are located where there are good transportation link with urban centers. That means this market gardening and horticulture, okay, farms are located nearby the urban centers where there is a good transportation network. This is another point. Then another characteristic is given here. It is labor and capital intensive, like mixed farming, then like dairy farming. This one also both labor and capital intensive. Okay, then there is emphasis on the use of irrigation, then use of high yielding variety seeds, fertilizers, insecticides. This is another point. Okay, there is a great emphasis on the use of irrigation to increase the productivity. There is use of SYB seed, fertilizer, insecticides, and other biochemical inputs. Then another point is here, greenhouses and artificial heating is also done in the cooler regions. In the areas where, okay, the surface is covered with ice and snow, greenhouses are used for plantation. Do you remember what greenhouse is? Do you remember? Actually, this is a glass house. Okay, it is a glass house. Let us say this is glass roof. Okay, this is glass roof, and the walls also here, walls also glass. Okay, and see, you know, this is sunlight. Okay, so sunlight can pass through glasses. Okay, glass, GLASSES. Sunlight can pass through glasses because it is a short wave radiation, and so it will strike on the surface of the greenhouse, and it will be absorbed, and again the surface will radiate back, okay, heat in the form of long wave. Okay, in the form of this long wave or infrared. Okay, here we can say this is infrared radiation or this long wave radiation. Okay, and we know that this infrared or long wave radiation cannot pass through the glass. It cannot pass through. Okay, it is here, it is obstructed here, and from here also it cannot pass through. It will be confined in the glass house, and hence the room is heated. And so this is the mechanism of the greenhouse, and because of that, even though there is snow and ice in the surroundings, okay, we can grow crops inside the greenhouse. Okay, so in the very cold areas, so greenhouses are used for growing of crops, or artificial heating is done. Then another feature is here. Okay, so in this type of agriculture is well developed in the densely populated industrial region. So this is mainly done in the densely populated industrial districts. Okay, for example, we have northwestern Europe, as indicated earlier, highly industrialized region. Northeastern United States, another industrialized region than Mediterranean region. Okay, so in this industrialized region, this market gardening and horticulture is practiced. Okay, then another important characteristics is given here, that is truck farming. What is truck farming? The regions where farmers specialize in vegetables only. Okay, the farming is known as truck farming. So truck farming means a type of farming which specialize in the growing of vegetables only. Okay, truck farming is a type of or is a subtype of market gardening and horticulture. Okay, which specialize in the growing of vegetables only. Truck farming means growing of vegetables only nearby the big cities. Okay, why the name is given? Why the name truck farming is given is mentioned here. Okay, see. The distance of truck farm from the market is governed by the distance that a truck can cover overnight. So the location of the truck farming should be such that, okay, it should be able by cover. It should be able to cover by a truck in a night. Okay, that is why the name truck farming is given. Again, let me repeat. The distance of truck farms from the market is governed by the distance that a truck can cover overnight, and hence the name truck farming is given. And another important type subtype of this market gardening and horticulture is given here, factory farming. Okay, so what is factory farming? It is the rearing of this livestock, particularly poultry and cattle. Okay, poultry, you know, this this duck, then chicken, like that. Okay, and rearing is done in stalls, pens, fed on manufactured feedstuff and carefully supervised against diseases. So factory farming, okay, factory farming is a type of farming in which livestock, particularly poultry and cattle, are reared in stalls and pens, fed on manufactured feedstuff and carefully supervised against diseases. Actually, the feeding of the poultry and the feeding of the cattle is done on the manufactured foods, okay, not the natural grasses. So in the other cases, in case of nomadic herding, pastoralism and other things, further, okay, grasses are supplied. In this case, the cattle and poultry are fed on the factory manufactured food, okay, food for the animal, and hence the name factory farming is given. In this case also, we have the carefully supervised, okay, against diseases. Then, like the other types of farming, it requires heavy capital investment in terms of building machinery for various operations, veterinary services also there, heating and lighting, okay, in the pens and the stalls also there. And another important feature of this factory farming is that there is breed selection and scientific breeding. Okay, there is breed selection and scientific breeding of the cattle and the poultry is done so that the production can be increased. Okay, So these are the important features of the factory farming. So any question about this factory farming? Any question about factory farming, truck farming, or any other question about other types of farming discussed earlier? Okay, I have to repeat factory farming. Actually, this is a type of farming in which cattle and poultry are reared using manufactured feedstuff. Okay, the food for the cattle, the food for the poultry are manufactured in the factories, and these cattle and poultry are reared using the manufactured products, not on the natural grasslands, okay, or not on the further cultivated one. Actually, the animals and the poultry are fed on the manufactured feedstuff, and hence the name factory farming is given. And about the features, okay, it is almost the same with the other types of farming. It is capital intensive for machinery, for building, and for buying the feedstuff. It is this labor intensive also, okay, and scientific treatment of the animals, veterinary services, then breed selection, and a scientific breeding of the animals and the poultry are done. And this type of farming, that is factory farming, is also practiced nearby the big cities and industrial regions, because these big cities and industrial regions provide a good market for these animals and poultry products. Are you clear, Basti? Basti, are you clear? Okay, any other question? Who is Demi Lens here? I think I'm seeing this boy or girl for the first time. Others are regular students, and I think Rosen also has left. Rosen, are you there? Okay, then if you don't have questions, then for today up to here. As usual, please leave your name in the WhatsApp group for attendance. Thank you very much for joining my class.